Hi everybody, it's Claire back with another art journal video. So again, I'm playing with some of Dina's brand new release in this fabulous journal, which is nearly full. Um, it's so lovely. I am going to need a stash of them. I'm going to create a little pocket with a tag in the journal. So easy to do. So I'm just cutting out a window in this first page. So I'm just using my Fiskars craft knife. It's a really comfortable one to use. And it does have a brand new blade in, thankfully. And I'm just cut it down a little bit smaller on the right hand side as well. That's just so that it's going to be easier to get that tag in and out. You notice I've just sprayed the paper with water, so this is a watercolor journal, so you might as well play and experiment a little bit with some of those products. I'm using scribble sticks here and wetting my brush and just splatting some of the colour onto the frame that's going around my pocket. So I've used what looks like either magenta or raspberry. This is iris. Beautiful, it moves, it's so nice. And then I think I go in with a blue colour as well, which is probably, that might be, I think that's orchid. Yeah, and then probably a turquoise or something like that next. This is a nice way to get some colour onto your background. Obviously, with this technique, you don't have as much control over where it goes. So you do have to just embrace that. It'll be all right because you are literally just splattering the pigment onto your page. So then I'm just mopping up any little puddled areas where it's kind of gone a bit, well, puddly, and then giving it a really good dry. So next I'm going to use a piece of Dina's transparency. So this is where I actually made a mistake when I was creating this. So I stuck the transparency, what I wanted, I stuck it to the page behind, and I wanted to actually stick it to the front of the pocket. So I spent a while working out how I could then rescue it, which what I did was I added some more transparency in front of the pocket. So I really didn't think this through. I just got a bit carried away, stuck it behind, and then I was like, oh, okay, so that doesn't work now. So I grabbed a piece of clear transparency. I actually think this, yeah, it's Duralar, wet media Duralar from Graphics. And I'm going to get the alcohol inks out and add some colour. So one or two people have asked me how you get this kind of loose effect with your alcohol inks on the wet media Duralar. You need some blending solution. Less is more with the alcohol inks, and you just have to kind of embrace what happens, really. You can see that I'm using that kind of blower thing. I don't know what it's called, a tool, to just move the alcohol ink around on my Duralar, and it creates these lovely little puddles. Now, once you've added your colour that you want, you can then go in with your blending solution and just create some calmer areas too, which can be like little windows into the area behind. But I really love, as you know, I love colour, and I just love the saturation of these colours on this wet media Duralar. And the fact that you're going to be able to peek at the printed transparency behind as well. So that one that I just used was one of the Tim Holtz neons, and you can see it does water down quite a lot if you use the blending solution with it. Of course, once you've finished, you can go in with some isopropyl alcohol as well, and just add some little calmer areas to your page. But you can see I'm just building those colours up. And what I'm going to do is cut this down so it fits into my window, using the stalk of the isopropyl alcohol just to splatter on there a little bit, and that just moves things around a bit more. So you just embrace what happens. But I would say less is more with alcohol inks on the wet media Duralar, definitely. So this one is going to get stuck to the back of the frame that is going to be the front of the pocket. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, you can see. And then I will use the Tim Holtz Tiny Attacher to staple around the edges of the frame and fasten my pocket together. I also have a little stash of tags that I keep on hand um, for projects like this, where I want to just crack on and create. I don't necessarily want to be making the tag as well. So I found one in colours that kind of worked. This is the new pack of collage paper from Dina with these lovely faces on. And I'm going to add one of these onto the tag. And then I'm just going to spend a bit of time making that look a bit less like I've cut out a piece of collage paper um, and stuck it on, and just finish off those edges of the image and give her a top of a head and some more kind of lines coming down just so that it fits onto my page. I used Dina's gel medium there to stick it down. You can see there I was just making sure that I wasn't going to make the top of the head too massive. And I'm using a Stabilo oil pencil just to colour that in a bit and just finish off that image. And then adding some lines coming down the page, down the tag rather, just to keep that feeling a bit more flowy. I don't think I go in and water activate it. No, just leave it as it is. I'm giving her a little pink cheek. And then I've got my little tin of quotes from stencils, and I'm just going to use, well, stencils and stamps, and I'm going to just use a couple of those on my tag. It's nice to have a little stash. So a stash of tags that are ready to go and a stash of words, and it just takes the hassle out of it. It means you can have fun just making. That was Dina's media glue that I used to stick that down. It's perfect for little jobs like this. And then I'm just going to go in and add a bit of mark making onto this tag using a little gel pen, just lots of little dots to create those little areas of interest. For me, no tag's complete without a bit of ribbon in the top, so I have a box that is absolutely crammed full of different sorts of ribbon. It isn't very tidy. I'm still working on that one. But yeah, popping a bit of blue, and that's just going to sit in my pocket. One thing to bear in mind though, if you are adding ribbon onto tags and pages in your journal, it will make your journal bulky. If you don't like that, then perhaps don't add the ribbon, because then it would still lay flattish. But you can always remove the things out of the pockets when you're working in your journal if you need those pages to lay flat later on. So here are some close-up shots of the finished page. You can see the printed transparency behind the Duralar that I added the alcohol inks to, very much using a kind of similar colour palette for this page. And I like to do that sometimes, using those kind of analogous colours just make me happy. So thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe so that you can get updates of new videos when they go live. And I hope to see you again soon.